You know, basically she's saying, well, maybe there's some kind of a Putin-Trump connection. These other reports of her friends in the media have basically said he's a Manchurian candidate. But at the same time, if Secretary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, there's a real connection between Russian business interests and the Clinton Foundation and her decisions as Secretary of State.
So that was our national security analyst, Katie McFarland, yesterday here, amid new questions about the Clintons' Russian ties. At the time of the so-called reset, during Clinton's time as Secretary of State, Russia's so-called Silicon Valley was pouring millions of dollars into the Clinton Foundation. Well, Peter Schweizer wrote the book Clinton Cash, and he's here to hash some of this out. Peter, good morning to you back there in your home of Tallahassee, Florida. This is known as, let me get it right, Skolkovo?
Skolkovo, yes.
So this is north of Moscow, and it's a group of companies that operate in that part of Russia. And what did these companies do relative to the Clinton Foundation, Peter?
Well, you had American companies that were putting technology and money into Skolkovo, their version of Silicon Valley, and you had Russian companies and Russian government officials involved. Both on the American side and the Russian side, they are making major contributions to the Clinton Foundation to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. Some of them are also sponsoring speeches by Bill Clinton at the same time.
Okay, did she have to sign off on these contributions as Secretary of State?
She didn't sign off on the contributions, but she and the State Department negotiated and signed off on the memorandums of understanding, which allowed and had companies like Cisco and Google cooperating with this Russian tech initiative.
Okay, now you say there was no smoking gun, right? You admit to that, but what you're arguing is that there is a pattern. Explain that, Peter.
Yes. Well, that's right. So there are 28 companies that are U.S. companies that are going to get access to the Russian market to participate in Skolkovo. Of 28, 17 are major Clinton Foundation donors. The head of the Skolkovo initiative, a guy named Viktor Vekselberg on the Russian side, is a Clinton Foundation donor. And the problem, Bill, is that this tech cooperation, both the FBI and the U.S. Army have come out and said that really this is really something that's done for the benefit of the Russian military. So this program enriches the Clinton Foundation, but also has serious national security implications.
Well, no, explain that. You're saying the technology they develop in the private sector, specifically as it relates to how the Russian system is run, could be used in a military sense. Is that the suggestion?
That's right. It's so-called dual-use technology. This was an issue during the Cold War as well. You cooperate with technological development with the Russians on, say, sensory equipment, industrial application. It also has military application. And what the FBI and the Army said in studies is there is military research going on in Skolkovo, and that is the ultimate motivation for Russian participation in this program.
Are you also alleging that that was the motivation for the reset button in the first place?
Well, I think with Russia, they had all kinds of motivation for reset. They wanted to have the arms deal that they got. They wanted to certainly have closer economic and technological cooperation with the U.S. The problem, I think, is we took the same approach we took in the Cold War, which is if we give them access to technology, if we give them capital, they're going to somehow mellow and become more friendly. And, of course, as we saw in the Ukraine and elsewhere, that certainly is not the case, and we're back into sort of this Cold War relationship.
I spent a week in Philadelphia last week. I did not hear a single mention of the Clinton Foundation during the convention. Why not?
Yeah, very unusual. Very unusual. I mean, this has been their pet project for more than 16 years. No mention of it at the Clinton Foundation. I think they've realized that people see the Clinton Foundation as a pay-to-play arrangement, so they just decided it was better off, they were better off not even talking about it in Philadelphia. Quite shocking, if you ask me.
Is it shocking, or does it surprise you in the end? I mean, listen, you've been on this trail for years.
It surprises me that they have backed away. They have vigorously defended the activities of the Clinton Foundation, the flow of money, the speaking fees. They've vigorously defended it for more than a year since the book came out. But then when it came to this national stage, where you would have an opportunity to highlight all the great work they claim they're doing at the Clinton Foundation, they decide to take a complete pass, even though this entity bears the name of Bill, Chelsea, and Hillary Clinton. I'm really, frankly, stunned, Bill.
What's it tell you?
It tells me that they realize people know what's going on, and the old adage of follow the money. applies every bit as much to a charity set up by a politician as it does to money flowing directly into their pocket. People are throwing money at the Clintons because they want something in return, and I argue there's evidence that they are getting things in return for that.
Peter
money.
Schweizer, the book is called Clinton Cash. Peter, thank you. Out of Tallahassee, Florida again today.